Welcome to True Crime Bites, Death Row and Executions, where we honor lives lost and revisit the final chapters of those who crossed the line.
15 seconds.
Rescue 911.
Yes. My name's Blaine Milam, and my daughter, I just found her dead.
How old's your daughter?
13 months.
Ma'am, we're going to try CPR anyway, okay?
16
Get her to the
hours,
phone now.
51 minutes, 26 seconds.
Get her! Blaine, get her! Hurry!
Are you there?
Yes.
Y'all stalling is not helping her at all.
Go ahead.
If he's not going to do it, you put the phone down and go get that baby and get her to the phone.
On September 25th, Texas plans to execute Blaine Keith Milam for the 2008 murder of 13-month-old Amora Bain Carson. Unless a court intervenes, it will happen at the Huntsville Walls Unit, the same red brick complex where the state has carried out executions for decades. After years of appeals and pauses, the date is now set, close, and very real. Before any legal thread is pulled, say her name, Amora Bain Carson. Born in November 2007, gone by early December 2008. A year of first babbles and wobbly steps that never had the chance to become school photos, birthday candles, or the ordinary soothing routines that tell you a child is safe and loved. Whatever you believe about punishment or mercy, a baby's life is a promise, and we are here because hers was taken. The crime happened in Rusk County, near Lake Cherokee. Investigators would later call it the worst scene some had ever witnessed.
Come on, sit down. It'd be warmer in here. Hey, Bub. Come on in, have a seat. I want to make sure that you understand I'm a Texas Ranger, okay? Mm-hmm. And I've got a tape recorder playing right now, but you're not under arrest. You understand that? Mm-hmm. I mean, you're sitting here in my car, and I'm talking because the tape can't see us. It can only hear us, okay? Mm-hmm. But you don't have handcuffs on. Mm-hmm. I asked you to come over here and just sit down. We're just sitting and visiting. Is that right?
Right.
Now, what I want you to do, Blaine, is just in your own words, and I know this is hard, buddy, but I want you to just tell me what happened this morning.
I gave her a bottle. We were walking down to the property. We call it the property because it's where I'm having our new mobile home put.
Okay, you gave the baby a bottle?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in there on the bed.
All right, okay. Go ahead. And you and Jess walked down to the property?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we just started marking off the stuff, and about an hour flies by, and between that hour and a half, we walk down here, walk in the house.
Okay. Go
and
ahead.
She wasn't nowhere to be found.
Okay. Go ahead, I'm listening to you.
Alright, and then by that time, we're searching for her, and there's a hole in my mama's bathroom.
Okay.
Alright. That's where she was.
Okay. I'm going to record what we say so I don't forget anything, okay? How old are you?
18.
Okay. All right, tell me, just start off, tell me the story about what happened this morning.
Okay,
What from the...
we decided to go out to the property. So we walked down to the property, and we didn't plan on being there that long, but we just got and start talking details about everything, about the trailer and everything. And
Did Blaine resent you having the baby? Did that cause a problem in y'all's relationship?
no, he loved that little baby.
Why would he hurt her?
Huh?
Why would he hurt her?
He wouldn't.
Why would he lie to me then?
Huh?
Why would he lie to me? He told me you were an honor graduate from Longview High School. You're a very smart girl. Y'all were together this morning for about an hour or an hour and a half, and your stories do not match. One of you's lying to me, or both of you's lying. Right now is the time for you to tell me the truth about what. Let's get it out. That's the only way that this is ever going to be right. is for us to get it out. So right now, just tell me what happened.
I would never hurt that baby.
Tell me what happened.
I wouldn't either.
Tell me what
He
happened.
loves that little baby.
But just tell me the truth about what happened. Let's get it so you can get it off your chest. Because it's just going to eat you up if you don't. It's just going to eat you up.
No,
Tell me what happened.
I could tell you, but you wouldn't believe me.
I will. I will believe you.
No, you won't.
I will believe you. I promise.
If you do, none of the other cops won't. Because it's something that they would not believe.
I will believe you. I promise you, I will believe you.
But they won't. And they're going to think we're lying about it, and we're not. That's why we made up this story.
Court records describe injuries so overwhelming that a medical examiner struggled to single out which was fatal. Prosecutors told jurors the violence unfolded during what Milam and his then-girlfriend Jessica Carson called an exorcism. It's hard even to put that word next to an infant's name, but that is what the jury heard, and what the appellate record preserves. In 2010, a Rusk County jury convicted Milam of capital murder and sentenced him to death. The defense offered mitigation about his upbringing, mental health, and heavy methamphetamine use. Experts explained how chronic meth can produce delusions and psychosis. The jury weighed that and still returned a death sentence. On direct appeal in 2012, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals affirmed. Carson was tried separately in 2011, convicted of capital murder as a party, and sentenced to life without parole. Opinions summarizing her case note she was present in the home during the period prosecutors said the violence occurred. She remains incarcerated on that sentence. Years later, the case turned onto a more complicated road. In January 2019, one day before a scheduled execution, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals granted a stay to reevaluate two issues: evolving standards for assessing intellectual disability after the U.S. Supreme Court's decisions in Moore v. Texas, and the reliability of bite mark evidence that earlier helped distinguish roles in the crime. The court issued another stay in early 2021 while those questions were further assessed. Those legal detours didn't end the case. They changed the questions and extended the time. A quick word on those issues. The Supreme Court's Moore rulings told Texas courts to evaluate intellectual disability using current clinical standards, not outdated non-medical yardsticks. That matters because an incorrect standard can blur the constitutional line against executing people with intellectual disability. As for bite marks, for years, forensic odontology testimony was admitted in American courtrooms. More recently, scientific bodies and courts have sharply questioned claims that you can match a particular bite to a particular set of teeth with confidence. Milam's case sits at that crossroads. Raised in 2019, argued in briefs, examined again, and ultimately found by the courts not to undermine the conviction when weighed alongside other evidence. Through those years of litigation, Milam remained at the Allen B. Polunsky unit in Livingston, where Texas houses men under a death sentence. Death row there is singularly restrictive. Single-person cells, 22 to 24 hours a day inside, no contact visits, and very limited movement. Recently, Texas began piloting limited group recreation for a small number of death sentence prisoners, an incremental shift after decades of near-total isolation. But for most, the routine remains solitude, quiet, and long, slow time. By mid-2025, after additional proceedings, the state set a new date, September 25th, 2025. Local and national trackers list it. Advocates on both sides have circled it on their calendars. As of today, that warrant stands. What happens on execution day in Texas is ritualized to the minute. In the morning or early afternoon, the condemned is transferred from Polunsky to Huntsville. The transport log is initiated. The protocols are followed exactly. By law, executions take place after 6 p.m. Central Time. Final visits are short and tightly scheduled. Texas ended special last meal requests in 2011, so there's no bespoke menu, just the same meal served to everyone else. If the prisoner chooses to make a final statement, it's delivered through glass to 2 rooms, one for the victim's family and witnesses, one for the prisoner's witnesses. Then the lethal injection is administered. Those procedures, practiced hundreds of times since 1982, can sound cold when described on paper. They are meant to be. A process that leads to a death is dressed in rules so people can perform their roles without improvisation. But none of that should eclipse who this story is about. Amora was a child whose world should have been picture books and peekaboo, clapping to nursery rhymes and toddling toward the person who calls her name with a grin. The court records tell us how her life ended. They cannot tell us who she would have been at 5, or 9, or 13. The record is unflinching about what happened in that house. Investigators and medical experts put words to injuries most of us shrink from imagining. Prosecutors argued the violence lasted hours and that both adults bore responsibility. Even a decade later, detectives still described it as the worst scene of their careers. None of those descriptions are hyperbole. They are the phrases that stick on the page because people couldn't find gentler ones to describe what they saw. As for the defense, it has consistently centered on impairment and responsibility, profound drug use, grief after Milam's father died, limited schooling, and later claims of intellectual disability. Expert witnesses spoke about methamphetamine's effects on thought and perception. Appellate briefs parsed cognitive testing and argued that some early scores could have been depressed by withdrawal, with later scores improving in sobriety. Those arguments shaped years of litigation, stays, remands, hearings, but they did not persuade the courts to overturn the verdict or the sentence. Where does that leave the people who loved Amora? Grief shifts shape. In those first months, it can feel like a storm surge, loud, sudden, knocking everything from the shelves. Years on, it becomes a tide that moves in and out without warning. For some, an execution feels like a door finally closing. For others, it feels like a door that only leads back into the same room. Honoring Amora means refusing to let the brutality of her last hours be the only thing we remember. It means speaking her name without only whispering it. Clemency remains a technical possibility. In Texas, the Board of Pardons and Paroles reviews petitions in capital cases and makes a recommendation to the governor. Commutations are rare, and the window is narrow. In the final days, filings and emergency motions move quickly. Families wait by phones. Lawyers refresh court dockets. Reporters stand across from the prison, watching for a last-minute order that may or may not come. That's the practical truth of the final hours. If the execution proceeds, it will be efficient. The chaplain will ask if Milam has last words. Sometimes it's a sentence. Sometimes it's a paragraph. Sometimes it's silence. Journalists transcribe. The warden signals. Witnesses watch the rise and fall of a chest, and then the stillness that follows. The court quiets. The state closes a file. But for families, files never really close. They just get heavier. As the date approaches, this case will be listed alongside others with active warrants. Headlines that alternate between legal terminology and human stories. You can condemn the act, honor the little life that was lost, and still acknowledge that the pathways to violence are often tangled with addiction, poverty, and untreated illness. Holding more than one truth isn't weakness. It's how communities metabolize harm without losing their humanity. Here is the spine of the timeline in one breath. The murder in December 2008. Milam's conviction and death sentence in 2010. Carson's life without parole sentence in 2011. Direct appeal affirmed in 2012. Stays in 2019 and 2021 to address intellectual disability standards and contested bite mark evidence. Continued litigation through 2024. and a new execution date for September 25th, 2025, still active as of today. If there is a final statement from Milam or a last-minute court order, you'll hear it in the hours before the injection. If there's a stay, it will come fast, read in clipped phrases, and ripple out to families waiting in parked cars within driving distance of Huntsville. If there's silence, it will be the silence that follows the words time of death. Either way, we still get to choose what we remember. Let's remember the name that matters most tonight, Amora Bain Carson. Thank you for watching and for holding space for Amora's memory. As always, stay curious and stay safe.